Hello and welcome to Games and Brains episode 3. This week we're changing it up a bit and we're talking about drugs. And we brought on our special guest here, Cole.
Hi, I'm Cole. I'm excited to talk about drugs.
Aren't we all?
and some current video game news. So I think we should start with that, just the couple things that are going on. So, and I'm sorry if I sound very nasally to anyone listening because I am still very sick. So I might sound a little stuffed up, but I'll try to mute my mic whenever I making too much noise. So literally just when was the Overwatch update, Joe?
Today,
Sometime
sometime,
today for PS4.
the
Sombra,
15th of November.
yeah, Sombra literally just released. I haven't even you, I have it on the screen behind me, which is super bright. But just released. Haven't even touched it yet.
I don't even know what Sombra is.
Do you know what Overwatch is?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're in for a sweet treat then. So I can,
She's like a hacker stealth character.
yeah. Um, do you know like the gameplay thing of Overwatch, Cole?
I just know there's like a bunch of characters and it's super fast paced.
Yeah, I mean it's like a first-person shooter, like team-based,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
Team Fortress 2 kind of style.
Yeah, and there's objectives and shit.
hmm
It's not like Team Deathmatch.
Yep, and it's people get hyped over the new characters and stuff, and Sombra's the second one that they've added.
Oh, so it's just a character. I thought it was a whole new game.
No. So
Okay.
it's new character for Overwatch. But they had this huge, what they call an ARG, an alternate reality game, like leading up to it, so people had to like do hacking stuff on different websites to like get hints about it and stuff. So it's been this long running thing and it took forever. But I'm
So
surprised
is
it's
this
out.
new character like super OP?
I mean, that's kind of remained to be seen.
Yeah, we think she's going to change the meta of the game. Like,
hmm
they're probably going to have to be at least one Sombra team, or well, the one Sombra team to be competitive anymore,
I feel
just
like
Damn.
because her abilities.
I feel like it's gonna be a good counter to Reinhardt.
Does she hack the shield?
Yeah, if you get behind them, you can hack the shield and or you can hack them and then they can't pull up the shield.
Oh,
So and then your ultimate will
that's
completely destroy their shield and they can't bring it up for like however long it is. So it's gonna be helpful. Anyways, sorry, Cole. Um, what else? Okay, Cole. You were talking about the Battlefield update.
Yeah.
What did it do?
I watched a level cap video today and he was saying how in the operation game mode, the attackers have a lot more tickets, so it's easier for the attackers to attack, and also the capture time for the sectors or the flags in the sector is like extremely reduced. So it's definitely for the attackers.
Interesting. I
that'd be interesting. It was super hard to attack in
It
Operation.
was. I don't think I've ever won an attack in
I
operation.
haven't,
that's really yeah. I guess
especially
that's why they changed it.
especially not in the forest one. That one,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Conquer Hell.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good change then. I never really played
Mm,
operations. I did a few games and yeah, I guess when we were attacking, we kind of got wrecked. Now that I think
yeah,
about it,
it's
so
just I don't know. There's way too many flags to capture in 3 battalions.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad that they actually are improving things. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just leave it in the dust. Is there any other video game news that you can think of? Oh, Dishonored 2 just came out, like e- last Friday, I believe.
Something like that. Games come out on Fridays now, not Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Thank
It's
God.
it's
That was such bullshit growing up and through high
yeah,
school. It
I
was
think it's school night.
Tuesday.
it,
Every Call of Duty was Tuesday.
I
yeah,
remember one of my
every game I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much everything.
Skyrim came out on a Friday. I remember that one because it was weird.
Yeah. Um, I remember one of the school stories of when games were commonly released on Tuesdays. When Halo 4 came out, me and my friend, he put his TV in the back of his car, and this was when I was still in high school. Put his TV in his back of his car. There is PS4 in, oh no, sorry, PS4, Xbox in. That's a different generation. His car and took it over to my house, and then we went to the midnight release of Halo 4, and we literally stayed up all night playing Halo 4. Like, but then half of it was like freaking downloading it because that's how games are now, which is dumb. Um, and then we still managed to go to school in the morning because that was the one thing we actually managed, or we had to do that to
Tristan,
convince our parents.
you were always the dude that was always sick after a
Yep.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
every time,
I'm
every time for like the entire rest of that week. Game comes out on like Monday at
Oh,
midnight.
where's Tristan? Oh, he's
We don't
sick.
see
Oh.
you until Monday the next week.
Yep. Yeah, it's every Tuesday that a good game came out. It's pretty much not in school.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
was like, Mom, I'm sick. Can I go GameStop, Mom? Oh man. Yeah, those were the days. Oh, either that or like the day after it came out. Depends.
I've never been to a midnight release.
They are interesting. I think I've only been to the Halo 4 one. Um,
I went to Call of Duty last year with my roommates,
did
and
you
that was interesting.
Black
Did-
Ops 3.
Yeah,
did you go to the Mortal Kombat one, or is that just you
that
did?
one was the most interesting one.
Yeah, I didn't
Imagine
go,
your
but I met you
video.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did pretty much the same thing you and your friend did
hmm
for Halo.
That's the best thing to do,
That's
dude.
fun.
It's much
I
easier
know.
when you're in college.
Oh yeah, that's what we did that night. We just hooked up like 4 TVs in the living room and just gamed out for the whole night.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I came over after you guys because I didn't get it, and then I came over after you guys picked it up and we played for however long. I think I actually crashed at your place.
I think everyone did. That was a good night.
Cole, maybe we'll break your midnight release virginity one of these days.
Oh, yeah. I'd like my cherry popped.
Yep. Okay, should we talk about some science and health with what's the word? Smokables
Yeah,
That's a good word.
let's get to them drugs, boy.
and drugs. Okay, let's talk about vape pens first.
Okay. Cole,
Well, so for
Uh,
those who
what's
don't
your
know,
opinion on a vape pen versus like a cigarette?
hold on, for
Or
those
like,
who don't know about vape pens, is they use a type of gel basically, and it vaporizes it and you smoke it. It's supposed to be like the better than cigarette alternative.
better than hookah, better than cigarettes.
Oh yeah, so explain to me what hookah is. Like, what's the difference?
Hookah is like a flavored, super, super flavored tobacco.
Okay, so
And
just okay.
You have this big old rig, and you put your tobacco in on the very top, put some foil over the top of it, poke some holes on it, and then you put coal, some hot charcoal or just coals on top of it, and that heats it up, burns it, so you can inhale the
Okay, so it
tobacco,
still is
flavored tobacco.
tobacco. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
that's the bad stuff.
Yeah,
It's not good.
tobacco's like the very. I honestly so okay. Go ahead and talk about what did you ask?
I wonder how someone was just like, let's smoke this, let's grow the fuck ton of this plant, and then just smoke it
Smoke
all
it.
the time.
Well, it
Oh,
makes
I
you.
don't think the tobacco's the worst part. They have like tar and stuff and like a cigarette.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have a bunch of
they have a lot of
nasty stuff.
chemicals and.
Awful. But tobacco's still not good.
Is it because of the buzz? Did we figure out that it gave us a buzz, and that's why we?
I would
Oh, yeah.
assume
Any-
so.
Any mind-altering thing we did.
Yeah, alcohol, marijuana. I mean,
Shrooms.
Meth.
meth,
Dude, I'm
yeah.
watching Breaking Bad right now, It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I know I'm like so far behind, but oh, it's so good. Like
That
everyone's watched it 5-6 years ago.
is gonna be a classic now.
I watched it a few years ago. I didn't pay much attention, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So vape pens, when they very first became popular, everyone was saying that basically they are the if you want to quit smoking, or if you want a safe alternative to smoking, quote unquote safe, um, that would be the way to go.
I think I would agree with that. I
Yeah.
mean, unless you just want to not smoke anything.
hmm
If you have to like inhale something, that would definitely be it.
They
For
make
sure.
the non-nicotine ones, uh, which I mean, if you're trying to quit smoking, the nicotine's kind of what you want, so you can wean yourself
Yeah, if
off
you think
of.
you're like super dependent on it, the one here in Hutch, the Hutch Vapor, you can like choose how much tobacco you want, like what percentage of tobacco you want in your
The nicotine.
little jelly stuff. Yeah, nicotine.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, let's discuss that aspect because I think that's a um, wide misconception with cigarettes and smoking in general. I don't think nicotine's bad for you. It's just like
it's like the addictive
it's
agent in it. It's like the
yeah,
caffeine
it
of.
it's what gives you the buzz.
Mhm.
It's not the harmful part. The harmful part's the tar and nic or
Like in chew, it's fiberglass and shit.
yeah, and the whatever tobacco.
I did do a little bit of research, since we were going to talk about this today, about it, about majorly the differences between, or the health differences between e-cigs and normal cigarettes. And they said that between, or just on average, like between, uh, that e-cigs have roughly 9 to like 450 times less carcinogens, which are cancer-causing agents.
Yep.
Um, Although the weirdly weird thing about like e-cigs and also marijuana for the most part, there's not a lot of like really good research on it. Like cigarettes we've had for so long and they've done so many different studies and you can see
hmm
the effects of it a lot more because it's been going on for so long and like in the public eye and money.
Shit, weed's been smoked longer than tobacco,
Oh yeah, weed's been around since
Yeah,
freaking
but in America it's
but no
been
studies have been done on it, I'm
yeah.
guessing.
Oh, in
Been
America it's
wasted.
been illegal for so long that you can't really just
well, it's only
get
been
people
illegal
to.
for like 50 years. It's been smoked for hundreds.
Yeah, but like before we actually like yeah, there was research done and stuff, but not as in depth or well known as today, just because of technological advancement and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sure they did do some research on it, but I feel like at the same time no one really cared because I mean, back when cigarettes were first like really put into as a major product, they were said to like cure all this stuff like it's supposed to be really good for your health.
So stupid.
Yeah, but
I bet we're doing the same thing with a lot of stuff now.
oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I
In the
mean,
future, and be like, what the fuck were we doing?
yeah, I feel like that's how it just naturally goes. We learn more. Although granted, we're figuring some stuff out because our average lifespan is quite a bit more than it used to be. So I mean, we're getting some things right.
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing with whether something's researched or not is um, the big corporations that are pretty much running America. Like, we're not researching weed because we'd find nothing wrong with it and have to legalize it
Yeah.
because
We'd
big
find
pharma wants.
benefits. Dude, I saw this video of this kid with like, I think cerebral palsy or something, could barely walk and like, then he was like getting older and they kept trying treatments, nothing was worked. And then the first day he tried, what is it? It's not THC, it's like low THC, it's high CBD oil. He was running down hallways and stuff. It's crazy.
It definitely has some good benefits, but there are, I mean, with everything, I think in if you're gonna do it recreationally and stuff, it's all about moderation. because like in high amounts it can, what is it, like it can affect your brain. One, it like makes you, they the what the actual, like what the National Institute of Health called it was like low life goal achievement basically. So it kind of makes you not want to like go after those big
Ambitious.
goals. Yeah,
Look,
it makes you
look
less
at look
ambitious.
at Joe Rogan though. That dude's out there achieving everything between the sun and back.
Michael
And
Phelps.
he's a stoner. He's like a true blue fucking stoner. That dude's out there smoking weed every day.
Yeah, but there's always going to be those.
Yeah, but I think that might be, you don't know if it's like if that's causing the low ambition or people with low ambition are smoking weed.
I mean, it might be.
I think that I think that's a wide misconception, but there's no scientific proof, like you said, either way.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good research on it, um, which is weird because like the only really good thing I could find was from the National Institute of Health, and even then it was kind of like they're kind of like, yeah, it definitely has some effects that are not great, but at the same time, it doesn't really do anything horrible to you. And one thing they did mention was that when like younger kids, like not fully developed brains do it, is it can damage, like it can make you like one less ambitious and two just kind of dependent on it and very, I don't know what the
It
word
affects
is.
your memory.
Yeah, it makes it, I think yeah,
Um,
it screws up your memory.
but I mean, if you line up the negatives with like weed and
Oh
cigarettes
God,
or
yeah.
even drinking, it's not even
Alcohol's so
close.
bad for you. Yeah.
Alcohol, like just on caloric intake in general, or like what people do when they're high on alcohol or drunk, is the same thing.
Yeah, it's
But like,
interesting.
they get aggressive and mean and in your face, but you get high on some weed and you're just like chill.
Yeah, I mean, again, you wouldn't want to drive or anything when you're high because
Oh no,
you are
definitely not.
impaired. But like, yeah, I mean, the thing about alcohol is we do know that like heavy drinkers over time, their liver will pretty much shut down and eventually kill them.
It'll
We
kill your
as far as
brain cells.
yeah,
It'll hurt kids who drink it, like the underdeveloped brain. Same negatives.
hmm
Alcohol is just far worse than marijuana. But
yeah,
It's like marijuana is a Schedule One drug in America right now. I think
yep,
the
like
weird
it's classified with the baddest of the bad,
yep. Heroin, meth,
pretty
cocaine.
much.
which is yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess it's nowhere near the effects of, meth or anything. Like that stuff can straight up kill you the first time you take it. I mean, it's just like, and yeah, I mean, marijuana, I don't think anyone's, at least no one's like proven that anyone's just straight up died from like a specific thing that marijuana caused. Like
Nope, can't be
kidney
on it.
fa or sorry, liver failure and stuff like that from alcohol is a pretty common thing.
And you could just die of alcohol poisoning like that night.
Yeah,
If you hit too
that
hard,
too.
you just won't wake up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I do find that which I know there's an alternative with in case of marijuana, but like with e-cigs and stuff too, is your lungs are very sensitive.
Hmm.
They're only used to taking in mostly oxygen, nitrogen, a little bit of carbon dioxide when we breathe it out and breathe it back in, um, and various other gases that are just in the atmosphere, which make up a really low percentage compared to everything else. Um, but when we inhale stuff that's concentrated and not what we're used to breathing in, um, your lungs don't like that, especially if you have like asthma or something. It'll really not be good, cause inflammation and negative effects for sure. But marijuana, you don't have to smoke it. It's part of the thing though.
Not to sound like super pro weed, because I'm definitely pro weed. But there have been studies that show that marijuana actually helps asthma.
Oh, that's
It
What?
interesting.
reduce the yeah, it reduced the inflammation in your
Were
lungs.
they smoking it?
Holy crap!
I
Yeah,
don't
that's the
know
great thing
how they
about
were.
weed. You don't have to smoke it every time. You can vaporize it, eat it, drink it, freaking
Uh,
it's amazing what you can do with it.
See,
Probably chop it up and snort it if you wanted to.
I do wonder what like
I don't know.
vapor in general. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you probably could snort it. I don't know that you would want
Yeah,
to, but
as long as it's getting into your system.
yeah.
I think you'll have to do that with the keef. You can't do that with just straight bud. You'll have to grind it and then get the keef, extract the keef from it.
Makes sense. I do kind of wonder
some
because
high level weed.
yeah, the weird thing about which is I think part of the reason that marijuana and well, I guess e-cigs, not so much in this case, but since it is
Well, there's
illegal,
definitely stigma.
oh yeah, but I'm talking about like since it
So,
is illegal, there's still like a I feel like people are almost afraid to do research about it. Like they just don't have enough time
well,
or resources
they
put into
can't do
it.
the research. Like they won't let them get their hands legally on the drugs, so they can't do a
Yeah.
legitimate test.
Yeah, that's true. The weird thing about e-cigs that I was reading was that even though I mean it's technically a legal thing and stuff, is as of now the companies that actually make the like gel and everything, they do not have to release like what is in it. So it's not like regulated at all, which is really weird. Like I don't like
Yeah.
that.
There's certain drugs that they don't have to release their like pass fail rate, so they could have like a 1%
Oh,
pass rate,
I've heard of that.
and it's just
But
horrible. Like
yeah,
mostly
but
fails,
like
and they
what they
still
say
pass it.
is that it works. I mean, but okay, they say it works, but they don't say it works 1% of the time.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're like it
Yeah.
can work.
Yeah.
And
And
those are like they're releasing pretty much like meth that your doctor writes a script for. Like
Yeah. There's
they're
kids
releasing
that get
hard
prescribed
drugs.
like straight up methamphetamine for ADHD and shit.
prescription drugs, I'm not a really big advocate for any kind of drugs. Prescription drugs are the same thing.
They
Um,
are the worst in
the
my
weird
opinion.
thing, which I just learned actually pretty recently, because I guess I never really thought about it, but where I worked, I was told my one of the people I work with mentioned to me that they used to have a lot of because we can rent out our building, rent out different parts of it. We used to have a lot of drug companies like rent it out, get uh, like doctors in there to basically try to sell them on their drug to like be the one to prescribe to patients and kind of buy them off and like sometimes they'll take them to like Hawaii and stuff with their families and
They'll
it
give them a percentage of the sales. Like
yeah it's I don't like that.
I'm very against most pharmaceutical medicine. Just
Mhm.
because like doctors are selling the drugs that are paying them. Like
Yeah. It's not like you can go to the office and not, or go to the doctor and not get prescribed something now if you have a problem with you.
Yeah.
yeah,
They,
What
they like
like
that's how they make money.
like the average doctor, like a primary physician sees a patient for an average of 7 minutes at a time. And like 9 out of 10 cases, they'll prescribe you a drug.
yeah, I don't like that in the medical field at all. Which if I don't think I've ever mentioned on this podcast, but I plan on going into the medical field. Um, which God hope I don't fall into that kind of sketchy corruption. But there's oh yeah, one thing I think is an issue that we're not gonna have to face yet, but like it's an issue with antibiotics, just because of I mean think about it. Last time you went to the doctor, what did they prescribe you?
A Z
Yeah.
pack. It's a Z pack for everything now. And that's a hard antibiotic.
Yeah. But the thing about antibiotics, okay, so when penicillin very first came out, it was the, wonder drug. It cured everything, which it did. Like it wasn't like cigarettes where they're like, "Oh, it can cure stuff." No, it actually like antibiotics really work. The thing is when you're just constantly taking antibiotics into your body slowly builds up sort of an immunity to them, and any viruses and stuff can also build up an immunity to them. So the more we give
I
our
need stronger and stronger
yeah,
antibiotics.
which that's an issue. Like if we didn't prescribe that much and we let the body do a lot of
We're
its
kind
own
of like
healing,
we're kind of like improving viruses and stuff.
yeah, we are. There's like, what do they call it? I think it's
Super
called super
viruses.
viruses now, yeah. And there's also been strands of antibiotic resistant um, viruses and stuff, which is just scary. And
Oh, we don't have antiviral. Viruses you just have to kind of like let cure themselves.
that's true, yeah. Yeah, viruses are sketchy. in every every way possible. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the weird thing about prescription drugs is they're supposed to be like, FDA approved and stuff, but I don't know if FDA, yeah, would it be FDA? What, the
Yeah,
Federal
it's
Drug
Federal
Administration?
Drug
Okay, that's
Administration.
what I thought. Because there's the
Well, it's
food one.
Food and Drug
Okay,
Administration.
okay, good.
Yep.
Okay. Um, then, it's supposed to be FDA approved and stuff. I feel like they're often bought out. I think that's just kind of part of
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
It's
part
all
of
about
crap.
the money, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
But one thing I think
Morals
about,
go out the door when money's shown.
yeah, that's something really dumb about the medical field. It's just like,
Oh, listen, it's every field now.
yeah,
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 it's
for sure.
everything.
Like,
Just look at Hillary. I'm not saying like Trump was a great candidate or anything, but just look how
Hell
corrupt
no, he
Hillary
wasn't.
was. Just look at how
Yeah,
corrupt
the
Hillary
Clinton
was.
Foundation's taking
Yeah.
money. Ugh.
yeah.
Clinton Foundation is sent money to Syria, like gave them weapons and whatnot just for the money back. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, our
and
world's
like
full
on
of
there,
corruption.
yeah, I don't even want to go into fucking Hillary. I'm just so happy I hope she goes to prison. Um, I was, no. Um, next topic or
Well,
what other drug?
I wanted to touch back on marijuana primarily. Um,
Okay.
'Cause I think so in my perspective, and I have never done marijuana and I'm not a big advocate for it. I don't think I'm kind of the point of view where like if you can do whatever you want to your own body, but as soon as it starts to hurt someone else, you got to stop it. But marijuana is one of those things that unless you're smoking around other people, even then it's like takes a lot to get, really affected by it. You have to be like in a closed area. Um, it's like go for it. And I definitely do not think it's any worse than definitely cigarettes. I think it's personally better than cigarettes and not any worse than alcohol. Um, I think it should be legal in every sense of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, partly because then there's a reason to actually regulate it so we can, you know, actually learn more about it. And
Yeah, Colorado legalized recreational marijuana, and what the tax money from that's going to go to, it's like 60% um, facilities to help teens that have substance abuse. 60% of the funds from taxing is going to go to that, and it's like 20% the police, um, law enforcement, and then 20% something else. I'm trying to find it on Instagram because that's where I saw it, but they're doing some great stuff with that money.
yeah, I
And
mean,
it's a
it's,
lot of money.
And yeah,
yeah,
it's Colorado's fucking bunch of potheads, dude. They're gonna make so much money off that.
yeah, I do think it would help. It definitely wouldn't hurt the economy to get weed out there. Part of it, I mean, it does help shut down the, not so good, very sketchy drug dealers and stuff when, they got,
Mm-hmm.
people can get it from like, they can walk to their corner store and pick up a bundle of
And they'll
it.
know exactly what they're buying,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
like
They're not gonna get the
amount
some,
of THC, CBD you can get. It's just gonna be
what's
much better.
was it K2 that's supposed to be just like
Oh
Oh,
yeah, synthetic
hard.
horrible?
marijuana.
Yeah.
K2 killed a kid in Bueller a couple years ago.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
All right, 20%. The other 20% is going towards environmental restoration.
that's super
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome.
Great shit. Yeah.
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 I feel it's kind of weird thing to talk about, but like I feel like when people kind of realize that there's this natural substance that um, people can use to feel good basically. It kind of helps them realize that there's a lot of good things on this earth that's natural, which is kind of a weird mindset, but I feel like even if they don't acknowledge it, I feel like that's kind of the mindset that a lot of people that do marijuana get. It's from what I've seen.
I definitely feel like closer to nature anytime I smoke it.
Yeah,
Just from my experience.
I don't know that. I think that's more the brain effects, but I mean,
Yeah,
forgot
for
about that.
sure. But like, yeah,
But I mean, like after the fact, after you're done being, high up in the clouds, you sort of realize that there's a lot of beauty in the earth, a lot of things we can use, and that we shouldn't be destroying everything.
Yeah, I mean, and then you can use the bud is what you smoke on weed, like just I don't know, it's what contains the seeds, but the whole entire plant can be used for like textiles, making clothes, making like paper. We can get rid of cutting the trees down and just grow a couple like you can grow an acre of weed like 3 harvests. It's the time it takes to grow an acre of trees, you know?
And have it for multiple purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I
It's
mean,
just a much more, I don't know,
I don't know how
better
viable it
solution.
would be as a completely like replacement to lumbering, but it would definitely like, help. Because that's one thing that a
Mhm.
lot of people have issues with nowadays is just clearing out forests. Um,
Mhm.
because I mean, you just like I understand, but you gotta,
what's the the Amazon? They've been deforesting the Amazon like
yeah.
crazy.
There's been lots
Bro,
of,
and the Amazon is what's helping like the planet get rid
We
of like the carbon that we
yeah,
just put out nonstop. It's fucking
and
and
crazy.
there's a
if
lot
we get
of,
rid of plants, we can't breathe. That's what's making our
yeah,
oxygen.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pharmaceuticals that are in the Amazon that just haven't really been, I don't know if discovered or
I hope they never get discovered because then
deeper the
they'll just
research.
be wiped out and
Well, no, but the thing
all
is
that
that
shit.
if they wipe out the Amazon, which they're kind of doing, then we'll lose like, this big step in medicine for like no reason.
Oh, true.
Like it's just pointless like because if we okay, so if we took everything from the Amazon and then took those seeds and whatnot and planted them elsewhere and kind of spread that around and then kind of take it down so we kind of make the, equivalent exchange sort of thing. I feel like that's a lot better option, which is a lot of what lumber places say they try to do. I don't know how effective they actually are, but they'll replant as many trees as they take down, or sometimes they'll replant twice as many trees, the sort of thing. But I mean, humans are kind of killing ourselves slowly. Okay, we're killing
Uh,
ourselves. We're not killing the Earth. We're not going to kill the Earth. We're going to kill ourselves, and the Earth's just going to fix
Bounce
itself.
back
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
I just look at like every segment of society almost. Like the vast majority of any society on this planet, and it's just hurting itself unnecessarily with like stupid things.
Yeah.
Things that we could have just stopped, thought about it real quick, and then done it. Like thought of the repercussions before doing it instead of just doing it.
Yeah, we're just sort of kind of now figuring out what issues we're actually causing. Like, I mean,
And
people still don't believe in global warming and stuff.
we, people still think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
People voted for Hillary.
And
people
Trump.
voted for Trump.
Dude, damn. I hate America right now.
Uh,
Oh. All right.
one thing I wanted to mention, which back to drugs, I don't know why I keep going back to that, but just that I thought of when we were talking about it. There was this, God, what country was it? I want to say it was Sweden, if I remember right. I think it was Sweden. How they handled like abusers of, it was cocaine or meth or some hard drug, is they took them in and basically gave them like a safe place, gave them, it might have been heroin, gave them like clean needles, like actual, clean drugs and stuff, like so they knew what was in them, and let them kind of, you know, dope up and then slowly like wean them off. And it like was super effective and it worked extremely well. Like all the people that were in it like got, got back out, got jobs, got back in their place, but like
I think I've heard of that before.
yeah, it was like a really good project. Like it worked. And I feel like America needs to learn a few things because when we have drug people, we'd throw them in jail and just take it all away.
Well, there's the opposite extreme too. The Philippines recently had their new president or whatever you want to call it elected, and he went door to door and killed anyone who used drugs.
I heard about that, and
He
they're
just
like,
had the police shoot and kill on sight, and like
yeah,
neighbors were calling in other neighbors, and they didn't need any proof either. They were just killing random people.
yeah, I heard that he said like to just any citizens, like if you see someone using drugs, just kill them. It's fine. I give you my like, God, that's
It's crazy that
they're
we
still
elect
people.
people to make decisions for us.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that government's important and stuff. I mean, that's why democracy is better than communism because communism definitely has if you have a really good person in power, then it's great, probably better than democracy. But as soon as you get someone that's not so good, things just go downhill since they have like, all the
I feel like
power.
we need multiple leaders. There's a country that has like a board of leaders, and they all have their own personal jobs, and they just meet like whatever to do their presidenting,
You need
which
people
is
to check.
interesting. Oh yeah, for sure. But I think democracy is a broken system, especially now, because the lack of knowledge from anyone, like you and I, Cole, everyone, no one knows everything about the
Yeah.
candidate you're selecting, and no one knows the like what what is actually necessary in every aspect of the politics.
Yeah. And people could be just straight up lying. Like for example, Trump's big what three things that he was, supposedly elected for was like what the wall, um,
Well, and
immigration.
well, that's the same thing,
Yeah, well, yeah,
but
true.
still,
But
yeah.
let's see, the
And
wall
anti-abortion, like getting rid of abortion.
was that. I don't think that wasn't one of his big things, but I think it was something that he.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
definitely his big things because he
and
ran as a Republican.
like taking out lobbyists. And there's one other thing that I can't remember, but it wasn't as big. Um, or maybe it was. I don't know. But like, and then he was in an interview recently, and the lady asked him about all that stuff, and he's like, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of lobbyists. They're not gonna go away. And then like, as far as the wall goes, like, someone said you might settle for a fence. He's like, yeah, I could probably do a fence. It's just like you kind of didn't do what you said you were going to do. So I mean, you can never
Yeah, I bet.
trust fully.
I don't know. I bet Trump just. I think because he said before that Republicans are the dumbest people in the world. I bet he just used the Republicans to get elected, ran as a Republican, said everything that he wanted the Republicans to hear, he thought that they wanted to hear, and now he can do what he wants.
I do
I
wonder where
think
that's gonna
that's
go.
I think that's Trump's thing though. Like he is what you want him to be, you know? Like the Republicans say he's super Republican, but if you talk to a Democrat, he's like, "Oh yeah, he's been a Democrat his whole life. He's probably just gonna be a Democrat again." Like
Yeah,
Trump is just malleable into whatever you want him to be.
that's probably why he won.
Well, he won because he was running against a terrible Democratic candidate.
Who, granted, got a higher got the bigger popular vote
Yeah, yep, she did win the popular vote,
on a
which is a whole other topic.
yeah the
Yeah,
broken electoral college system.
Yep.
Tristan, you go offline? Oh no.
I'm still here. Um, what's our next topic?
Meth.
Meth.
I don't know. You can smoke meth, can't you? Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose you
I
can.
watched Breaking Bad. Um, you can smoke crack. You can smoke. What else can you smoke?
Technically, you can smoke
Salvia.
anything. Catnip.
Salvia makes you trip crazy. DMT. You can smoke DMT.
One thing I kind of do. Uh, so I've tried vapor cigs. Just like non-nicotine ones. And I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't. I stopped just because
Did you blow O's?
No, God, no. I never got talented at it. But I don't know. I think this is what a lot of people like our generation kind of sees nowadays. Is vaping's kind of like a. I mean, of course, people still do it, but it's kind of become this sort of meme.
Yeah,
Like,
the
Did you
definite.
quit because of the meme?
no, I mean, it was still popular when I tried it and stuff.
Oh, it's still popular
Oh
today,
yeah,
I would
no, it's
say.
still popular. It's just it's been
Yeah,
very,
it like really blew up our junior year of high school.
yeah,
That's when I started blowing up
yeah.
like crazy.
So my fiance got one, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And it was like grape flavor. I enjoyed it, but I'm kind of strangely good at like if something I don't know if it's particularly good for me, I'm like, I don't need to do it. So I didn't really, because at that point there was even less research done about it. So pretty much all the research now is basically like, yeah, it's from what we can tell, it's better than cigarettes, which okay, cool. I didn't because cigarettes are probably one of the worst substances like that are legal, um, if not the worst. So I don't know why those are still legal and marijuana
Dri-
and isn't.
Driving's pretty bad for you.
What is
Driving. The
driving?
statistics of driving are
That
pretty
is true.
horrendous.
That is true.
But back to the meth thing, I think no, but like I think anything that we as people manufacture is going to be far worse than anything you could ever find in nature.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we definitely not got to the point yet where we can rival nature.
Like look at soda. That it can literally kill you, and that's like one of the biggest industries in America.
Yeah,
We
or
all drink it.
fast food stuff.
Yeah, fast food, like all food, pretty much. Like everything's processed to a degree now,
Yeah,
unless
hmm
you're like running your own farm, and you're just killing all the nutrients and all the I don't know benefits of actually eating.
one thing interesting I found it was actually about food, about GMOs, genetically modified organisms. I think it was Bill Nye that was talking about it, and he said that like basically, yeah, you basically you can't. I think I don't know. I want to put words into his mouth, but from what he was saying, it sounded like he approved of them, mostly because like you can grow more for less land basically and get them out quicker and stuff, so it's more food compared to less like and still nutritious. So I mean, some things are working, but
GMOs are definitely working.
yeah,
GMOs are definitely going to be really, really important when our climate starts to change even more, gets hotter. We'll have to genetically modify seeds that can grow in hotter environments than what they're normally used to, you know?
yeah. Hopefully, God, hopefully we can combat the changes of stuff. But then
My
again, some people still
yeah.
don't even believe climate change is real. So who knows where we're gonna
Well,
give it that?
No.
we wouldn't have to combat the changes if we just stopped the changes. If we just did something better for the environment in
That's
general.
true. Yeah.
But my history professor showed me or showed us a picture of genetically modified corn versus not, and the not was just dead. There was like two
Yeah.
kernels. It was like all like ridden with like maggots and stuff. Whatever eats corn, and then the other stuff was like big, plentiful corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
definitely
go to
works.
you go to like Dillon's and you go buy Honeycrisp apples, dude. They are they're like freaking dodgeballs that we used to throw at Holy Cross. They're so huge and they're all like that. I'm sure that those are like the pick of the litter. Like you pick 1,000 trees, those are like the top 10% of them. But dude, that's some big stuff, and I'm sure that they're genetically modified some way.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty much every produce and stuff you're gonna pick out nowadays is gonna be.
Well, you just can't grow it anymore because like we keep reusing the land and stuff. It's not realistic to grow it like we used to anymore.
Yeah. Which I mean, that's more of a change I can accept, just because it's just kind of altering, making things a little better or different. I mean,
I'd
granted
say
it's
that's
for
a
our needs,
product
but
of evolution.
yeah, we kind of are. I mean, but if we can get
A
really good
more
at
natural evolution than the evolution spec we're on currently.
yeah, um, but if we can get to the point where like we put GMOs and like use it to modify other organisms, like I don't know, just put that sort of thought process into a lot of different things and kind of change things for the better. I don't know, like I'm sure there's tons of different applications, but like
Like if you could do it in a chicken and make one chicken huge and just kill one chicken instead of 40 chickens, that is far better than the current
it's much more
situation. I'm not
efficient and
saying use steroids. I'm saying modify the genes and just make it a huge chicken.
Yeah, I mean, the chicken breasts we buy are freaking large.
well, they
Like the
definitely
chickens that we have are large right now.
I don't know what they use for do they I know they breed them to, get the, best cut like
I
they
think they put like steroids in their food.
yeah, but if you could alter the genes so that they get on that genetic level and so you
More
get the
muscle
more
mass or
muscle and
something.
stuff compared to fat and I mean that's probably the next step in like what farming I guess
I don't know.
livestock. Yeah, I mean as technology advances we're gonna find lots of different methods for everything.
Oh, wait, I watched this documentary on National Geographic about climate change and stuff. It's called Before the Flood or something.
Mhm.
I'd definitely watch it if I were y'all. But this statistic about like livestock, they're talking about livestock and how livestock puts out more harmful heating
Methane?
gases, yeah, methane out of their burps than all the cars do in America.
That's crazy.
It's just I don't know. I mean, chickens don't do that shit. It's just cows, and I love my burgers, but
Yeah.
if I have to give up burgers to
That's
help,
one thing they're working on. Growing like a hamburger in a lab.
oh
It's
Instead
possible.
of like actually killing a cow, they just grow the meat
I
in
mean
like
oh
a
god,
in
in
like a petri dish.
that does not sound good at
well, you
all.
probably wouldn't know the difference. Like if you tried
Yeah.
it, probably the kind of cool thing, which is I would imagine basically the same technologies they've been working on, and they've done this with mice organs. They basically take like say like a mouse lung, and they dissolve all the actual tissue, but keep like the framework of the lung, and then they put stem cells from another mouse and basically can grow a new lung.
With that mouse's DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it'll
that
it'll
sounds like
be
the
like easy transplant right into that mouse if it needs it.
yeah,
But
which is kind of the next what I'm assuming is the
yeah,
next big advancement for.
they use like a certain kind of fluid to just flush out all the cells, and it just leaves like a template where you
Yeah,
can grow new cells on. It's
it's some
crazy.
really cool technology.
Yeah, you can do that with like a heart or something.
Yeah, like in theory, like if they figure out a way to make the framework, they can just kind of make the framework non-naturally, so they don't have to take a heart and dissolve it, or just use one as like a basis and then like somehow,
3D fucking print it.
Yeah.
yeah,
We're
with living
3D
tissue.
printing organic materials
That
now.
reminds me, freaking Russia, um, was
Oh
talking
boy.
about by like this was a couple
Who?
years ago, but they said by like 2020 or something they're gonna be 3D printing organs. That's what they claimed. This random company in Russia. Uh,
What
Hell yeah.
what country is it that said that's trying a head transplant? Like a full
oh
new body.
yeah.
Germany or something?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about though. How have they
So
have they
weird.
done it yet?
No, it's coming up.
I don't
I don't
know.
know when.
That'll be an
Do you hear
interesting.
about that, Cole?
Bro, a brain transplant would be crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they're talking about like taking this
the whole head.
paraplegic's head off and putting it on like a recently dead body.
Yeah. Yeah, it's God, I'm curious to see how that goes.
My guess is two dead people, not just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like our technology is quite there yet.
At least on the first go.
Yeah. I think it's possible, but like, I mean, in theory, it's possible, but like, there's all sort of factors that go into that, though. Like, how are you going to
Yeah.
keep the brain alive for that bit it's without oxygen, and how are you going to actually connect all the things in time? And
Well, we have we have ways to do that. You like with the heart anyway, and the heart's harder because it's moving.
Yeah, but the
The brain's
brain's a lot
kind
more
of like,
complex organ, though. That's the thing. Is the
yeah.
We
heart?
barely know anything about the brain.
I guess after like
Yeah,
4 minutes or whatever, you're like you're severely brain damaged
yeah,
with like a lack of oxygen. It's super quick.
yeah. But I mean, hearts are interesting. They have these things called pacemaker cells, so even if they're not connected to a neural link, they still beat on their own, which is pretty cool. So it makes things like that a lot easier. And some people, they don't even, I don't know for sure. We were talking about this in my A&P, my anatomy and physiology class, um, how like the neural link and my teacher wasn't sure. They didn't think that a lot of times when they do heart transplants and stuff, they don't actually connect back up to the brain just because the heart will beat on its own. But the brain is a very fragile thing though, and
Well,
very
I think you have to connect it to the brain. You wouldn't have to do it like through the nerves or anything, but you'd have to like do it for the blood flow.
yeah. I'm not sure what cause yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that because again, my teacher didn't even know for sure, but I would be interested to learn about that. Um, but yeah, the brain is just like again, even the effects of drugs and stuff. Like we're still not 100% sure on what it really does to the brain. It's just this.
And we kind of have this like essence, like what makes you you versus what makes me me.
Yeah,
Like no one knows what that would do.
yeah. It
But
just
they thought putting a new heart in someone was putting a new soul into them, and that turned out to be wrong. So who knows what you can do with a brain?
Yeah, bro, it's literally all about the brain. I
yeah,
feel like as we evolve, the brain is the only thing evolving. Like the body is just the tool that the brain uses to get nutrients, do things, get and grow. It's literally all of us is just right here in the brain.
yeah. It's
And
like I
like
mean,
the eyes are just a tool for the brain to see what's around it. The ears are a tool for the brain to hear what's around it and shit.
us is this is us. Is this brain? Like that's where our memories, our personalities, everything is where it's stored. Like this. Yeah, honestly, this is just like
All of our
a
gifts, like
car.
every talent that you have is because of this.
Mhm.
Like it's not like I don't know. It's just this is what's evolving, and then this is the tools that it uses to do that.
Yep.
I've been having this thought experiment in my head when I'm bored, and it's what if your perception of reality is wholly off base? Like you're
Possible.
locked, you think that you're on this podcast right now, but you're actually locked up in like a ward somewhere, and you have no clue because this is just your
Just playing
brain
in your
is your
brain.
entire reality.
Yeah. There's also like it's on a much smaller scale than that and a lot less horrifying. But just like how we see colors, like how I see a color blue could be you could think it looks like what my
Yes.
red looks like. It could be just completely different. Like
Yep.
Yep.
what we see in reality could just be so much different from I kind of doubt. I mean, the color thing maybe, but I kind of doubt like things would be too much different being like in a new brain if you somehow transfer thoughts over and stuff. Because since all humans are somewhat alike biologically, we're pretty similar other than certain features and stuff. But in the inside, we're pretty close. Um, about as close as you can be, like naturally. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't
you
feel like it'd
said,
be too
like
much
the
different.
body is just like the machine that's hosting your brain.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if we can understand the brain, I feel like so many other things are going to be so much like I mean that'll help with computing if we can understand like how the brain works and
Addiction.
yeah, addiction, which is a
Every
huge issue in every
personality
place.
disorders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all mental illnesses.
What makes a mass murderer? What caused Hitler?
Yeah, I mean,
Did you guys ever watch a playthrough or actually play the Steam game called I think it was called Soma?
yes, I actually did.
I,
That is like that game. It really makes you think about what consciousness really is. Like, could your all of your thoughts, your entire brain, be uploaded onto a computer, and then like that would be conscious, or like
It's
what is
really
actual consciousness?
really strange. Because actually, I watched that not too long ago. And Gurrit, you've never seen anything about that, right?
I watched Markiplier's
Yeah,
video
I
about
did
it, his
too.
whole
Yeah,
playthrough.
he's.
He was really just getting deep with it,
Oh
and it
yeah,
was like,
yeah. But just for anyone that doesn't know, and for you too, Joseph, is like so that the whole big thing
I
in it.
haven't been called Joseph in so long.
Joe.
Sure word. Um, is that so? Basically, there's person like take place in the future. Like what was it, like 100 or so years ago in the future? And in like our time, like 2016-ish, he goes in and gets a scan of his brain done, right? And then like the next thing you know, you wake up 100 years later, and later on you find out that you're not human, you're a robot, and that literally just the brain scan is what you are. Um, Learn that your other person died because there was some injury in the brain and all this stuff, and then you transfer your consciousness again, or not transfer it, but you copy your consciousness over again to like get past a certain obstacle in the game,
Hmm.
and it
And
just
you just wake up in another machine.
hmm and
Hmm.
it just talks like it's a big like thought provoker. So there's so much
Yeah.
like deep stuff about it. Like if yeah, it's another you, but your continuous consciousness, like that old you died basically, or didn't die, or is just like stranded. Like that, literally just copying yourself. It's sort of this like where does consciousness come from, and like what is it? You know,
Hmm.
like to me, it's sort of how I think of it is if my thoughts and everything were transferred over to another person, like or copied more or less, because transferring would imply that you go with it. It wouldn't be me. It would be because I would still be myself, although that would be an exact copy of me, but like my continuous consciousness would still be with that original me.
That's nurture versus nature, though, because if they have every single one of your experiences and the nurture side of things is correct, then they are you.
Oh yeah, no, they are, but like my thing is like from a personal like you that's
Yeah,
not you. Like your consciousness is not being transferred over. Your consciousness is like at that point you split into two basically.
Two separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're
if it
not.
were to
You
kill
didn't
you,
send over your operating system. You just sent over your memory
you spin over.
files.
Yeah. So like in my own mind, I would still be what I originally was, and then that other thing would think that I was it, but it would actually just be a memory of when the scan
Yeah,
actually
and
happened and stuff
Markiplier
like that.
talks about that too.
hmm It's it's really deep stuff, and
Yeah, definitely check that out. Soma playthrough.
I mean that could be something we're looking at in the not so distant future too. Just that sort of
Yeah.
copying our. Again, we need to learn more about the brain for sure, but like um, there's something I remember taking a class, a health class, and people were talking about all different kinds of, quote unquote immortality that they wanted, and part of it was that basically you would program a kind of AI to be as close as you as possible to kind of like live on, even though it wouldn't be really be you living on. It's just this really weird concept. It's it's so deep.
Hmm.
I mean, there's just so many things.
All right, let's. I got something to completely switch the topic if you guys want to talk
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
go for it.
Go
I
for it,
watched
man.
this one video. Um, this black guy was talking about the education system, and he was showing pictures about like like all the different industries, major industries, and like how they have changed over the past 100 years. They are not anywhere like what they used to be. They're completely new industries now. But if you look at a picture of a classroom 100 years ago, it's a teacher in the front of the room, a bunch of desks, and a board. That's exactly what it is today. Like, what do you guys can you guys think of any new way for us to like teach children into becoming or like usable members of society or just like intelligent
It's
people? I
like
don't
a
know.
new teaching method.
Yes, a new teaching method.
Video games. That's one thing I think
Like
that
learning only from the screen. and no nothing else?
Well, I mean, of course, with other things, but like I've learned a lot from games. Like for instance, Soma, it asks like certain questions. Of course, it takes the right game and stuff, and some of them are completely thoughtless. But I think kind of being put into a situation that uh, unless you actually got into a real situation in real life, which could be life-threatening, it could be life-threatening to someone else, um, being put in that sort of simulation of a situation, say like in the medical field, like doing a surgery or something, um, you could sort of experience and learn from like a program that someone has put in of like a real life scenario. I just think it's sort of
Hmm.
I think simulations is honestly going to be like
With virtual
really
reality and
helpful.
stuff.
Yeah, just because it sort of puts you in that situation, kind of tricks your brain to think you're really there. And of course, as technology advances, that's going to get even better. Um, but I mean, I think just being put into situations that you're going to see in real life, in general, like in any kind of situation, like just even taking someone someplace, is a really good way to learn. One, it keeps interest, which I think is a big issue in school, is like kids just get bored. Like things aren't interesting. They don't think they're ever going to use it. Show them
Hmm.
that they
Well,
can and will.
I think people are waking up to this whole idea that we need to be spending 40 hours a week in an office working for quote unquote the man is kind of dying out. Like you see less and less of that. You see more people like going out. Like look at like Rogan. I'll reference him again because I really like the guy. But like he's a comedian. He he runs a podcast.
UFC announcer.
UFC. Yeah, he's the UFC announcer.
He does not have all of his what is it called? He doesn't have all his eggs in one basket.
Yeah, like he's just doing his own thing. Like he doesn't have a boss. He's his own boss.
I think I see this a lot with like, for instance, YouTube. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers now that make big money, and that was not a
Oh
medium that
yeah.
people made money off of. What? How old is YouTube? Not old at all. I don't even remember. Um,
Yeah, making money on YouTube's even younger than that.
yeah, but that sort of art expression, sort of like just being a personality, kind of being yourself, is becoming like profitable, which is really interesting. Um,
Hmm.
and
It's
I'm not,
allowing you to be more human in a way
yeah.
instead of
Well,
just being a
shit, dude.
cog in the system.
What?
All you have to do to make money now is be a hot chick on Instagram and post a picture of your ass
Oh
every
yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
day.
Oh yeah.
You
exactly.
make $100,000 and you post a picture of your ass
Yep.
every day.
If you're a
It's
super
crazy.
attractive
And
Ridiculous.
chick.
and this is like the only like generation to ever see anything like that. It's just this is the first time that's ever popped up or anything. And you can do it with just your phone. Everyone has a phone.
I do
Yeah.
It's
wonder if that sort of
Everyone
thing,
has a phone.
yeah,
yeah.
I do wonder if that sort of thing's gonna like hurt science or if it's gonna make things better.
I don't I don't think so.
Yeah,
Because like with the internet, we're starting to find out just how corrupt systems like the FDA and pharmaceutical companies are, like Hillary, like the government in general. We're waking up to how corrupt these institutions are and finding other mediums to make our money, which in turn takes less money out of those places and puts the money into things we want the money to go into. So if you like this scientific research, you'll buy the product they're selling and they'll be able to research more with that money than if you like do something through the government or
mhm.
whatever, you know?
My only thing is like is that yeah, I agree with you totally, but like I just wonder if there's gonna be, certain people that, which I'm sure would happen anyways, depending on, what was available. But if someone would be going into like, a really important field of study, then they decide to be, a personality on the internet instead, that sort of thing. But I think that's just kind of how things are gonna happen anyways. There's always gonna be
Oh,
people
that's
that,
how you thought it might affect science.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I feel like if you're a girl on Instagram taking pictures of your ass, you aren't going to be the next great surgeon. Like, let's be honest.
Back
That's
to
pretty
the
true.
whole like learning a different way thing. I was talking to Elias about this. I asked him the exact same question. Can you think of any other way? You guys remember Elias, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Um, I asked him the exact same question I asked you. Can you think of any other way that we could learn other than going to a classroom, 8 other classes a day, and learning from one teacher, and like writing shit off of a board? And he's like, what about if everyone had an apprentice? Like you learn from one man, and then
Yeah.
you learn his trade for like however long, and then you go to another apprentice and learn from him however long, or like the apprentice can have two, or but that'd be like a
Like an
really
apprentice
just
system.
completely, yeah, apprentice system.
That's
Yep,
something I do.
that's what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
You get more real life experience, and my issue with the education is you have to nail down what you're gonna study. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna study this, this, and this. You have this path to your
And that would
degree.
open up so many jobs if you could just, I mean, if you got paid to be an apprentice or someone, that'd be dope.
Yeah, instead of paying $50,000 to get an undergraduate degree that might
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I mean,
pan out,
the actual
Hmm.
college in general is kind of kind of a broken system, or just an outdated system.
Yeah, everything's just kind of old in the
Yeah.
education area.
and education is the leading push in this regressive left thing with like the cry bullies who are like, I'm offended, so now I'm in charge and you're a piece of shit. Like they're the leading in that side of thing, like, oh, you're transphobic because you didn't get pronouns right. They're they're the opposite end of a whole other spectrum. Like
Well,
they're the opposite of like a racist. They're racist in their own
in their own
shitty
way.
way.
Something I find interesting about the apprentice approach is that like I think part of the issue with schooling is like it's standardized, which people are totally different. Like we were just talking about, brains are just such a complex
Yeah,
thing
you're
that
trying to teach a fish how to climb a tree,
yeah,
like Albert
exactly.
Einstein said.
Especially for a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like you have to go to 8 different classes for 8 hours a day, and we're gonna have boring, pretty uneducated teachers up there
Yeah.
teaching the same curriculum they've been teaching
That
for
they've been,
30 years.
yeah, yeah,
Literally the same notes.
Yeah.
Like they haven't even updated that.
yeah. I mean, it works though. We're smart as fuck, but I'm sure that there is a much better way, but we
Yeah.
haven't found it
Well,
yet.
so I don't think
I'm
that
sure there's a
necessarily.
much better way for everything, infrastructure, medicine, everything, but
Oh yeah, we just don't know about it.
we
I'm
just
sure there's
need smart people to come up
plenty
with
of
them.
answers.
We're right on the edge. We're either gonna like fall off the cliff or we're gonna explode
Mhm.
as a species into something much better than was even conceivable
Yeah.
50,
Yeah.
60 years ago. We're right there. Something's gonna happen. We just don't know what yet.
2016 is the craziest year ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much crazy shit has
The,
happened.
the woman of the year was a man. Bill
Yeah.
Cosby's a rapist, and our president is a reality TV show
It
star.
was 76 degrees on November 15th.
Yeah,
He's in a cutoff today at track practice.
yeah.
I was
The
sweating my
weather,
balls off.
the weather's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The trees haven't even turned yet, and it's Thanksgiving next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we do live in
Some
a
wild
a
shit.
like arguably the biggest like turning point in history. Like this is gonna be
Probably.
like Garrett
I think
mentioned, either we're
World
gonna
War
fall
One
off or
was bigger,
yeah.
but this.
But
Well,
as
I
far
don't
as like a
know. It's technologically by far.
yeah, like
It's like the
as far as
the
scientifically
most
and stuff.
documented time in history too.
Hmm.
With all these Snapchat, you can document
Every,
anything and
everyone
everything that
has a
goes on in
voice.
your life.
Which yeah,
Yeah.
everyone has. I think
That
that's super
that
important.
chick at K-State got expelled for a Snapchat.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
What was the Snapchat?
Like it was some racist thing. I don't remember
Oh.
exactly, and if
She
I did,
had
I
she
would
had
want
like
to
a
repeat it.
face mask on, like a black face mask, and she goes, "I'm finally a nigga" or something,
Oh, gosh damn it.
Yeah,
and
that got her
it
expelled.
just blew up crazy
I
and
mean,
got her
gotta
expelled.
be careful. I mean, it kind of weeds out the stupid people. How
Yeah.
something they know other people are gonna see. I mean, I love the internet because it's like this big conglomerate of like just minds. Like it's all of us. Like
Yeah.
it's like the sort of
Bo,
closest thing we have to a hive mind, and I love it.
you guys know who Bo Burnham is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
All right.
awesome.
Bo tweeted something, I think, a couple days ago. He's like, let me see if I can find it. He goes, please, 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 can the internet get better at helping us communicate and understand each other rather than doing the exact opposite instead of just arguing? So, like, that's all we do when we, like, if you find someone with opposing views on the internet, you just bash them and you just completely disagree and it just shut off communication right there. And if the internet can get better at us communicating and understanding each other, that would be great. Because
Yeah.
you can do that with anyone. The internet's so fucking big.
Which, yeah, that's the thing though. It's so
I think
big that
shows like this though are doing just that. Like we're having a conversation about things we think are necessary to talk about. And if you want to watch it, you can watch it. It's free. It's on multiple mediums. You have access to it. But the vast majority is definitely what you're talking about.
I think that just humans in general, and I'm gonna give you an example, um, is that like we just need to find a common goal, which can be literally anything. I mean, like
Mars.
Mars, yeah, hell yeah, well, that's could be a common goal. But like for instance, like I just use this because this is kind of what I do, just as hobby when I'm bored and stuff is just YouTube and stuff. And there have been cases of like a streamer that was live streaming and someone broke into their house. And I mean, the people in the chat that were watching, they, uh, took screenshots to try to get the person's face. They called the cops for that person. They, gave all this evidence they possibly could. So when the internet like has a common enemy and a common goal, like again, it's that sort of hive mind thing. It's like you can take one task and try to put one person on it, or you can take like 5 million people, or I guess in that case of the stream, like 50,000 people, and put it towards one task. It's like it's super tasking, which is like that's amazing. Like it's like so many different minds focused on
Mm-hmm.
one thing, and that's like, I mean, that's where we're gonna get our advancements from.
War's kind of the opposite of what you're talking about, but it's the same thing. It's just on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's a whole country solely focusing on one task and just sending lives into the meat grinder.
Yeah,
Tristan, remember that. You need to freaking copyright that and build a template for everyone to
have a common goal.
work on one project for one problem on the internet from anywhere.
That reminds me of
Like
something.
send suggestions like or something.
Yeah,
Just
just like
build a
one
template for
template.
everyone to be able to do that.
That would be super cool. There has been things kind of similar to that. There was one, they were trying to find the gene responsible for, oh God, what was it? I don't know. There's some disease or some condition that they were trying to find the gene for. It was it was not that long ago. It was a pretty big discovery. But basically they made like a video game that like basically just sequenced genes and they had a bunch of people play it. And eventually they found the freaking gene that caused whatever it was. Like it's just crazy how you just have to be creative, which I think is something our generation is very good at. Um, so yeah, that could, I mean, yeah, if you found like some kind of template that you could put basically anything into and just have people complete a lot of small tasks
Mm-hmm.
to get to one big task, it's like that could be a huge jump. And it could be just something like kind of fun to do, like just, a little brain teaser or
Yeah.
something, like a little thing you just mess around with for a few hours or figure out problems. I mean, there's so many possibilities. It's that hive mind sort of thing, which is beautiful.
Yep, the Overwatch ARG is an example of that. Just
Yeah.
tens of thousands of people working towards the same.
Yeah, I was super impressed by that. Like, I don't know, I get the, warm fuzzies when people work together. It's just such like I think it's such a human thing, such a dependent thing we should all do.
On on Christmas 1914, in the trenches in World War One, the Germans and the French just had like a party together. They ceased fire, got up, mingling, having a hot cocoa, trading
cool as
stuff,
fuck.
playing soccer.
And then woke up and killed each other.
Yeah, well, it was the officer's decision, but there's several documented cases in World War One where the sides would just like come together as one and stop shooting and just like, because like they didn't want to be there, they didn't want to shoot that guy,
Yeah.
they just had to shoot that guy because if they didn't, either their commanding officers would shoot them, or the person they didn't shoot would shoot them.
That's the thing though, is like even if there's a corrupt leader, it's like the majority of the people alive are good people. Like
Yeah,
Mhm.
we don't need to kill each other. You can be
yeah.
your own person, follow your own rules, do your morals. Like,
And that's never been more possible than it is today.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
just go off on your own. You don't even have to work for someone anymore. Like
yeah,
that used to,
you can
you
work for
used
yourself.
to have to literally work for someone else.
Yeah, just take a picture of your ass every day.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I mean, we live
No,
in
but
a. No, go ahead,
yeah,
Cole.
go ahead, Tristan. Okay. Um. Are you guys gonna talk for much longer, or are we gonna make this last any longer? Because I got a fuck ton of chemistry to
Yeah,
do.
we need to wrap it up anyways. We're about an hour and 16.
Mm-hmm.
So, which normally try to shoot
Any
for an hour,
last
but that's
thoughts
okay.
on everything?
Um, humanity just needs to realize that we're all part of the same species. Work together.
Yep.
I mean,
Racism was taught, not you are not born racist. You were taught racism, and
and it's
Same thing with
stupid.
nationalism.
Yeah,
yeah, and once you
That's,
figure that out, we'll be able to work a lot
we're all
yep.
better with each other.
human beings.
And we just need to smoke more weed.
I
Man, that's
honestly think we get a lot done if like we got the politicians just high
That's
as
just right.
fuck.
Oh man. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. And
Yeah, that was a good talk. I'll be
Yep.
happy to do another one of these in the future.
yes,
Yep.
we enjoyed
Anytime, man.
we enjoyed your input.
Yep.
Next time we're
All
gonna
right,
have better quality mics because that's what we're
Yep.
just ordered. So,
dope.
all right, it's
All
nice
right, so
talking.
it wouldn't matter if I end the call now.
Oh
Will
no,
we
go
good?
for it. Gerd and I
Yep,
can
we're
wrap it
good.
up.
All right. Good
Yep.
talking to y'all.
All right,
Bye.
See you,
thank
man.
you. All right, well,
Well,
we've been Games and Brains.
that was episode 3.
Yep. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Have a good one. Yep.